Okay, hello everyone, and welcome. How are you doing? How's everybody doing, folks? DSP here live on the stream. What's up? Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome to a new release day, folks. Today is Tuesday, April 25th, 2017. And obviously I am Darkside Phil. This is my first of two gameplay streams for today. And I'm pretty excited. I hope that you are. New release day. Big survival horror game today. In the form of Outlast 2. So, let's talk a little bit. Outlast 1. I don't know how many of you actually remember Outlast 1. Quite a while ago. It was a survival horror game made by the makers of many other survival horror games that had kind of come together to make this game and bring all of their expertise from other franchises together into one. Now, at that time, they were an indie studio. If you remember correctly, they were independent. They didn't, it wasn't like they were some big AAA group of game devs, right? And so no one really knew what to expect. An interesting premise. A journalist who receives a mysterious message from an insane asylum stating that weird things are afoot and that if they came to do some investigative journalism, they would find some pretty messed up stuff that would probably be a huge story. Okay. So I remember playing this game. I remember the big mechanic of the game was the infrared, not infrared, the night vision of the camera. The guy had a camcorder that he used to look around areas where it was super dark, and he used the night vision to kind of sneak around. And the game was one of those survival horror games that does not necessarily have combat mechanics, but instead it's more about surviving yourself, sneaking around enemies that are much more powerful than you, finding ways around areas, reading the lore of the game to find out what's going on behind the scenes at this insane asylum. And then if you remember, at the very end of the game, there was a crazy twist where you found out there was an underground research facility under the insane asylum, a la Resident Evil, right? Because that's, I always say any game that has like a secret research facility beneath the building, it's always like Resident Evil 1, right? And come to find out going down there that there was all kinds of paranormal research going on. And there was actually a guy who, I guess was a patient, who had some kind of a spirit tethered to him. And all hell broke loose at the end of the game, if you remember that. Okay. So, that was a pretty good game. And then later on, I remember there was an expansion DLC called The Whistleblower. Now, this one was, you were actually the employee working at this insane asylum / research facility who saw all hell breaking loose and everyone kind of losing control and people going nuts around you. And he's the one who sent the information to the reporter in the original game. So those were the two kind of plot lines of the original game of Outlast, all right? Now, here we are, years later, 2017. So we're a good, I think it's 3 or 4 years later, right? Since when the original Outlast was released. Outlast 2 supposedly is going to be a different plot line, but apparently it does actually have ties to the original storyline of Outlast 1. Now, I don't know how, because I haven't played the game yet, okay? So I'm interested to see how this goes. So, today's first gameplay stream, starting in just a few minutes after the pre-stream finishes here, is going to be about 4 hours long, give or take. There's going to be a break in there at some point. And then I'm going to be playing this again later tonight. Now, I've heard some mixed reviews and mixed information about this game, alright? Some people are saying the game is incredibly short and can be beaten in 5 hours. Okay. I've also heard some people say that's nonsense. The only way you could beat Outlast 2 in 5 hours is if, number one, you know exactly what to do to beat it, and number two, if you don't read any of the lore and you're basically not taking your time at all, you're just kind of rushing through the game, for the sake of trying to beat it quickly. Now, I don't know the answer. I haven't played the game for myself yet. To me, I kind of would err on the side of the latter, meaning I almost would guarantee there are people who said, oh, I'm going to see how fast I can beat this game. Watch, it's survival horror, and you can just rush through it, so here we go. and then went and beat it within 5 hours, okay? But I don't know about that. You know, we'll see for ourselves as I play the game today how long it really is. Because here's the thing. I'm playing a 4-hour stream right now, and then later tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be doing another 2-hour stream. So I may, if the game really is only 5 hours long, all right, I'll probably beat it today. I'll beat it in one day, which is pretty crazy to think that I would beat the entire game in one sitting. Okay? But I guess we'll see. Well, I guess it wouldn't be one sitting if I'm taking a break for dinner, but you know what I'm saying. How often do I beat a game in one day? Especially with all the games I've been playing recently that have been insanely long. You know, Zelda, Mass Effect, Persona. Finally, a game that I'm going to be beating quickly, right? Now, here's the thing. Outlast 2 is only $30. If you're not aware, yeah, Outlast 2 is only priced at a $30 price point. So maybe the game really is really short. And the game developers realized the game was short and that they should not price it at a full $60 or people would go nuts. I don't know. The bottom line is with survival horror games, it's not about the length. It's about the experience, right? So, if they make a game that has enough entertainment value between exploration and gameplay mechanics and jump scares and lore, it doesn't really matter if it's only 5 hours long, okay? I guess we'll find out. We'll have to see, you know, for ourselves as we play the game. But I'm not a person that tends to believe the negative off the bat. I hear a lot of negative things thrown around about new releases all the time. And everyone always jumps on the bandwagon of, oh, it's release day. Let's shit on this game because we heard this one negative thing about it. Listen, let's play the game for ourselves and see what happens, okay? Fair enough? Now, a few things, folks, about this particular playthrough, all right? Number one, I'm playing it on Xbox One. And I know I rarely play games on Xbox One in this day and age. The last few playthroughs I've done on Xbox One were Dark Souls 3's DLC, Dead Rising 4, Gears of War 4, and now you can kind of see this perspective here. That's like the past 6 months, I've only played 3 games on Xbox One versus I've played the vast majority of games on PlayStation 4. Why? Okay, why? Well, let's talk. Number one, because typically, and I hate to say this, the PS4 seems to always have slightly better graphical performance than the Xbox One. You can argue it till you're blue in the face and say, I'm a big Xbox fan and I don't believe you and I think that you're full of shit. Wait, listen. All I know is from personal experience, that's what I've seen, okay? Now, the thing is, I am playing it on Xbox One, despite the fact that I usually play on PS4. Why? Because this game was not released on PSN. I'm not sure what happened. I guess the rumor, or at least what people seem to be telling me, is that the game developers with the original Outlast had a lot of problems with pre-orders. I guess their pre-order system didn't work properly for Outlast 1, and therefore on launch day, a lot of people were disappointed because they couldn't play the game at launch. And I guess they got into hot water for that or something. So they decided to not have any pre-orders for Outlast 2, which to me, it baffles me. Like, that's really weird in my opinion. No pre-orders for a new game. I mean, game developers die for pre-orders. They want those pre-order numbers so they could tout them in their freaking earnings and, you know, say that their game's so popular because so-and-so number of people have pre-ordered the game and all that. And a game with actively choosing not to have pre-orders kind of blows my mind in 2017. It's such an oddity that would happen, right? Now, apparently what happened is the game did show up on PlayStation Network like last minute this morning as I was setting up the stream, which it wasn't guaranteed to happen. Okay. Yeah, it was actually supposedly not guaranteed to come out until later this afternoon, and then it released on PSN, like, quietly, this morning. Well, I'm okay with playing it on Xbox One. The thing is, I wanted to have the game pre-installed for stream. I didn't want to have to be like, oh, well, I'd like to stream it. I have to download the 20 gigabytes of the game or whatever, and I don't know how long it's going to take. So, so that's the deal. We're playing it on Xbox One. Now, here's the other thing, all right? The game runs at a full 60 frames per second, okay? I am going to be broadcasting and recording this game in 720p and 60 frames per second. Now, you may ask why. Phil, why are you only doing 720p? You know, the game runs at 1080p. Well, it's this simple. Because I am both streaming and recording. And what I found is that if I try to stream and record at 1080p 60 frames per second, all right, it doesn't necessarily work. It kind of has issues, okay? In particular, on Twitch, I'm only allowed to stream at 6,000 kilobits per second. For YouTube, I record at 9,000 kilobits per second. That's the actual quality levels that I record at, okay? I tried before doing 1080p 60 frames per second on both, and Twitch ends up kind of being choppy. And because I'm doing it at two different quality levels, it absolutely destroys my CPU. So basically, my computer ends up getting maxed out if it's trying to encode at two different quality levels at the same time. And it doesn't work very well, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record at 720p. I did this for Resident Evil 7 back in January. I literally didn't get one complaint. No one seemed to mind that I played the game at 720p instead of 1080p. I honestly don't think that this kind of game matters. It would be one thing if we were doing like a giant AAA game where it was touted to be a graphical masterpiece and there was all this attention to detail and you want to see every detail in the game. That's not the case with Outlast 2. It's very much going to be a survival horror game that's focused on, yes, it'll be atmospheric, but there's going to be a lot of lighting and stuff, you know, a lot of darkness. It's not going to be that big of a deal, I don't think. But I figured I would bring it up here before we started with gameplay, before people notice, and they're like, oh, what the hell, it's only 720p. That's why I'm doing it. I would much rather have it a nice, smooth 60 frames per second throughout than have frame rate dips or choppiness in the video because I'm trying to do two different qualities at once. Okay? If you don't believe me, all you gotta do is check out some of my Overwatch videos that I did, not recently, but the ones that I tried when I first started doing this new streaming method for Twitch, and they looked really bad because I was trying to do two different qualities at once, and man, did they get choppy and just not look very good. So it's better off this way to be a smoother experience, I believe. Okay? So, yeah, that's the deal. We'll see what happens. Now, I'm playing this, like I said, 2 streams today. If I beat the game today, then we're going to move on to other stuff. This week, you know, there's other stuff going on. There's other games in particular that I would like to check out. There's this one indie game that came out. I guess it's called What Remains of, like, Edith Finch or something like that. And it seems to be this kind of suspense mystery style game. Although I don't really understand what the gameplay is. I watched the trailer yesterday and I was scratching my head like, what is this game? That's always a possibility. Maybe I'll do something like that until Friday. There's this game Little Nightmares coming out on Friday that I actually want to check out. It looks like a combination of Limbo with Unravel. So it is kind of a 2D side-scrolling platformer with puzzle elements, but it's also very creepy. It's got Tim Burton-esque kind of stuff to it that makes it look really kind of gothic and just weird. So that looks like a really interesting game. I'll probably be checking that out this weekend. But we'll see. You know, who knows? There's no guarantee that I'm actually going to beat this game on stream today. We actually have to see how long it really is versus what people are saying. Oh, it's only 5 hours long. I love it when I hear stuff like that on launch day. Okay. Okay. Now, also, for this playthrough in particular, we've got 3 new messages for people who cheer, who tip, and who sub. So while you're watching this game here on Twitch, or if you're watching on demand on YouTube, if anyone, cheers with bits or subs or tips me during the course of it, you will see a new on-screen animation. These are all courtesy of Dr. Zombius, who worked on these over the past week, and they're pretty awesome animations. All you need to do is do one of those things, and you'll see. You know, you'll see what they are. Right now during pre-stream, we haven't had anything pop up yet because no one's done anything yet. Keep in mind, if you do cheer or sub to the channel or tip me, those things significantly help me and allow me to continue to do this as a job. And I really need your help right now in particular. Oh, here's one of those animations. Haha, that's a cool one. So thank you to Sagalazin, or is it Sage Lazin? It's probably Sage Lazin, who just resubscribed to the channel for the second month in a row. Thank you, Sage Lazin. See what I mean? These are pretty cool animations. But anyway, anything you do allows me to continue doing this as a job. And right now, I really need your support. Okay? In particular, I've been mentioning this the past few days. Now that I'm going to have more people on stream today, I'll definitely mention it again. Things are really tight right now financially, because February was the month when YouTube ad revenue absolutely plummeted. Okay? It went into the crapper, basically. Uh-oh, did the cheer animation not work? The cheering animation is not working. Oh, wait, yes it is. There it is. Never mind. Yeah, so thank you. Wow, we already got cheering going on here. We got both Howl and Viking are doing cheers right now. There we go. Yeah, it was screwing. I apologize. It was screwing up there for a second. On my screen, it was delayed because it's because my laptop screwed up. My laptop is really slow today. Because I haven't restarted it in a while. I just keep putting it on standby. And so everything is super delayed. So I'm looking at my laptop and it's not showing up. So anyway, shout out to Bloodstone92, who just resubscribed to the channel with Twitch Prime. Shout out to both Howl and Vidar, who are doing kind of a cheer war back and forth here already to start off. And also, shout out to I Am Kurla, who just tipped me $3. And you saw that new animation. So we've got a lot of new animations going on right now. So, but anyway, oh yeah, and thank you to Howl, who just did another cheer, 104-bit cheer, and he said, "I love these animations." I gotta give super special thanks to Dr. Zombius. He's the person who's making all these animations for these streams. Okay, and he's really busting his ass to do it. You know. He's a longtime fan of mine, longtime viewer. Excuse me. And, you know, he actually had started... It was funny because he started messing with this program to do, like, moving GIF or GIF images, however the hell you pronounce it, a few months back. And it just happened to, by complete chance, coincide with when, in early March, I started doing my new method of streaming where I interact with you guys. Okay. So, yeah, it was completely by random chance that he started doing this, and then he's like, well, hell, I'll start making, you know, pictures for your streams. And the rest is history. You know, if you've watched my Mass Effect Andromeda playthrough, my Persona 5 playthrough, or, you know, some of my other playthroughs, he did more generic animations, but now he's starting to do them catered towards whatever game I'm playing. So, super special thanks to Dr. Zombius for working on these and giving these to me. Very awesome. Very awesome. What the hell is... I got the fakest fucking email I've ever seen from an impersonator. This is hilarious. Oh my god. Well, first of all, shout out to Mobo Bomo, who just did a 105-bit cheer. He says, I hate scary horror games. And he's the cheerleader now. I just kind of... This is hilarious. It's the fakest looking spam email I've ever seen from someone trying to pretend like they're PayPal. Order confirmed. Please complete your purchase via the settings that you agreed to. Click here for information. Like, get the fuck out of here. I love these fake emails I get every day. It looks so stupid. Yes, I'm sure that you're really from PayPal. You're not even written in like proper grammar. And I'm supposed to believe that this is from PayPal. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, I love these scam emails. I get a million of them a day, by the way. I literally get like 20 of them a day. They think I'm stupid. Some guy from like fucking, you know, some idiot from like India or the Middle East writing these fake emails thinking that they're going to fish someone. Alright, so anyway, everybody. Yes, thank you to Dr. Zombius, who's been making all these new animations. They're really awesome. And thank you to everyone who already is cheering and subbing and tipping so you can see the new animations. They're pretty awesome, alright? Now, in particular... Excuse me, had to clear my throat there. in particular, right now, as I was saying before we got distracted here, right now things are tough for me because February was the month when YouTube ad revenue plummeted. They lost over 250 of their top advertisers, and they didn't tell anyone. It was actually the Wall Street Journal that did investigative journalism and broke the story. YouTube didn't want anyone to know and didn't warn anyone who makes a living on the website that this was going to happen. So everyone got slammed starting in February, basically making half as much money as they used to. You know, because YouTube's such a good company, they don't bother telling the people whose lifeblood is their fucking website that they're about to take a giant pay cut. You know, because they're really nice people. So it slammed me worse than most people because, you know, I'm basically don't make a lot of money. You know, it would be one thing if I was one of these guys making crazy high 6-figure salaries and rolling in dough. I'm not, okay? I'm a very down-to-earth guy, middle-class America, and, you know, doing this, busting my ass every day doing live streams and gameplay videos and everything for you to pay the bills. Taking a giant pay cut like that really hurt me badly. And the good news is that I have kind of recovered in the fact that since Twitch streaming has taken off in such a big way in the past 2 months for me, since I've added the on-screen notifications, the thank you messages, I've been more interactive with my stream chat, things have picked up. All right, things are doing way better in that regard. Like, people really have come out to support me, and they're saying my content now is a lot more positive because I'm interacting with people now, and it's not just about me focusing on the game and acting like it's a job, but more enjoying the game and having fun with people, and I'm down with that, you know? I'm absolutely down with that. Oh, I love the idiots. Here we go. I gotta bring this up because this is hilarious. Spell sling in the stream chat. Yeah, you're down to earth, but you bought a BMW in a $400,000 house. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. I did neither of those, you moron. And I love it because these idiots spread that kind of misinformation all over the internet, and people believe it as fact. That's not what happened at all. And I'm not going to go into major detail about the truth of it, but both of your statements are factually wrong. You are an idiot. So stop saying stupid shit like that. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, right now things are pretty damned bad for me. Financially, like I've been telling everyone the past few days, all of my bills need to clear within the next 2.5 weeks. All right? And I'm nervous that they're going to because of the amount of the dip in income that I got. Because February was 2 months ago, and by the way, a lot of people don't know this, everything on YouTube, everything on Twitch, everything is 2 months delayed. Everything. There's a 2-month like clearance time. So whatever happened in February, I got paid for that this month. Whatever happens this month, I won't get paid for that until June. So I had like almost no income this month, and my bank account is like stretched to its limits. So if you do choose to support me today and or the next couple of weeks, I would ask that you do the following things. Number one, check out my Teespring store. As you've seen, there's a plug right here on your screen for it. Lots of cool merch there. All right. I actually been wearing shirts from my Teespring store on my streams recently because I really enjoy them. I've got, my mug that I use as well. That is from Teespring. Great quality stuff. Much better, in my opinion, than the stuff I used to get from Cafe Press, by the way. Years and years ago. And I make some pretty decent profit on those sales. And I get those right away. So please, if you haven't yet, check it out. And give it a look and maybe buy a few things. All right, get something nice for yourself, but it also helps me out, okay? Number two, Patreon. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Today is the 25th of April, which means there's 5 days left, all right? There's 5 days left in the month. And if you pledge to my Patreon in the next 5 days, first of all, you'll get whatever personal perk you qualify for based on how much you pledge. So some perks you can get, for example, some text or verbal thank yous in my videos, getting your questions answered on my bi-monthly Q&A show, Ask the King. I actually just did an episode last week that people really seem to enjoy, and there's another one coming up in June. Or you get a private Q&A video made. I just made 2 of these for 2 patrons from March, and both of them have now messaged me back and said, Phil, these videos were amazing. Thank you so much. We loved them. I always go above and beyond when I make those private Q&A videos to try to make them great. Okay. In addition to that, You can also participate in monthly events. Now, this month, the event for my Patreon is the return of the Patron's Choice playthrough. So if you're not aware what that is the fact that if you pledge $5 or more to my Patreon, you will be able to nominate and vote on a game that I'm going to be playing starting in around June, okay? Why June? Why does it take so long? Well, because it takes about a month for everyone to get their forum accounts upgraded, and then they start nominating games, and they start voting on the games. You know, it's a process that takes a bit. So, right now, I'm actually in the middle of Danganronpa, which is the current Patron's Choice playthrough, and I will be getting back to that game soon. In fact, within the next week, I will be playing more Danganronpa. And then when that game is completed by the end of May, then, you know, then I'll focus on whatever the new game is, all right? So, yeah, if you pledge to my Patreon, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And if you pledge in the next 5 days, not only will you get in on this month's perks and get them soon, but I'll actually get that pledge right away. So that's going to significantly help me right now at a time when I need funds to have my bills clear and not overdraw my bank account. That would help. Now, the third way you can help, okay, folks, and this is probably the coolest way you can help during the streams in particular, is by tipping me. And if you want to know how you do that, just look below the stream right now on my Twitch TV page, and you'll see the sections there. You know, there's a section for rules and links to all of my stuff. There's one section there that says tips, and it has a picture of me, you know, posing with Pokemon. Shout out to Sky Sands, who actually made that picture. I love that picture. I use it on a lot of things. Click on that. It'll actually take you to... now, someone just left a tip with an insulting name, and I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it because someone's trying to be cheeky and make me say something silly, and I'm not going to say that, okay? There's probably also some stupid spoiler and shit, some dumbass saying dumb shit. So I'm not going to pay any attention to that tip. But if you do tip me during the course of the stream, you'll see a nice pop-up message on the screen. Now, you can choose to either be anonymous or you could choose to actually leave a message. It's totally up to you, folks. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's the best way right now to help me out, because tips I will get right away. It doesn't have that 2-month lead time before I receive the funds. Now, here's the thing. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that because March was a good month, where YouTube ad revenue was a little bit better for me, where my Twitch streaming changed its methodology and I ended up making more money, that come May, say mid-May, when I start getting the payments for all that stuff, I'll be okay financially. I can't guarantee it, but I think I'm going to make enough to be okay. And then moving forward, I think I'll be good. But I need to get through the next few weeks to get to that point. Listen, folks, I would much like to just come on here and say, listen, you could cheer, you could tip, you could sub, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Thanks, everyone. But sadly, I can't do that right now. I have to keep letting you know that there's different ways you can help me, and this is the way to be better to help me because I need the money right now. I hope you can get there, though. All right? Oh, thanks to John Loves Gaming, who just resubscribed to the channel. Thank you, John Loves Gaming. I appreciate that, okay? Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start momentarily here, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Teespring, Patreon, or tipping me during this stream are the best ways that you can help. Listen, and I'm not shirking. If you can cheer or sub to the channel, I'm certainly not saying don't. I'm just saying those other methods are the way that you can actually help me immediately in the short term, which is how I need the help, okay? Now, there's also... Oh, shout out to Smegma Poo, who just did a 200-bit cheer. Thank you, Smegma Poo. Today, Twitch flicked the switch on a few changes, if you're not aware. There are now $10 and $25 subscriber categories. Although, I'm going to be honest with everyone, from everything I've seen, they don't really benefit the viewer at all. Like, if you were to become a subscriber of one of these larger categories, you don't necessarily get anything for it. It's just a way for you to give more back, I think, to the streamer. Okay. By the way, thank you to Holland the Deep, who just did a 201-bit cheer. And also thank you to... Hold on, I'm waiting for it to pop up here. Thank you to Faithin13, who just did a $5 tip. And he says, just a bit to help you out until May from a longtime Patreon. Cheers, Phil. Thank you, Faithin13. I appreciate that. So, yeah, there's these big new subcategories. But right now, they don't really benefit you at all. Okay, they don't. From what I'm to understand, they now have upgraded the amount of emotes that I can have. I have not checked to see how many I can have yet, but apparently I can have like up to 12 or 14 or something like that, so way more than I had. And apparently I can also now have emotes for those higher subcategories. But, you know, I haven't looked into it yet. Apparently this was a change they did overnight and didn't really tell everyone they were going to do it overnight. So I'll have to look into that. But yeah, if anyone wants to maybe design new emotes, please consider doing so. Because I have space for them now. I actually have a lot of space, right? So yeah, whatever you guys want to do. Oh, what's this? I got another tip. Hold on a second. Thank you to Saraikar, who just tipped me $10 and says, did someone say tip hype? Thank you, Saraikar. Appreciate that. Good start to the stream, that's for sure. Excuse me. All right, so thanks everyone for your support. Thank you for listening. I know the pre-stream has a lot of information I need to cover. I appreciate you being patient here. The final shout out I'll do is for my girlfriend, or excuse me, my fiance's store, The Black Currant, where she sells handmade glycerin soaps and wax tart melts. You can see the link right here on your screen. Great quality stuff. She's been in operation for over 2 years and had hundreds of orders. She ships internationally. All right. So don't think that it's only for domestic, like to the United States. It's not. And tons of positive customer feedback. Give that stuff a look. Okay, folks? All right, I think it's time to start. Outlast 2, I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. I love these survival horror games. These are some of my favorite playthroughs. They really are. Because I don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, typically there's surprises. There's interesting lore. Outlast 1 was like that. Had a lot of good, cool, fun, like surprises with jump scares. But the lore of the game was also quite entertaining. So I'm hoping this game kind of sticks to that formula, all right? All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Let us begin. It is time. It is time. Oh, I got one more. What the? What? Oh, we got another insulting tip. I couldn't. This person left a tip, $1 tip, anonymously, and tried to make me try to say something that would have been stupid. And I'm not going to say it. So there. Thanks for the $1, and you're an idiot because I didn't read your stupid message. How about that? And now thank you to John Loves Gaming, who just tipped me $5. Just have a sandwich on me. Thanks for an entertaining 8 years, Phil. And, whoa, and now Ellis Score just tipped me $10. He says, I'm not sure if you remember me. Since I disappeared for a while, but we had our share of differences. I apologize for that. I don't want to see you have to quit YouTube. You're entertaining. Here's a tip to help. Well, thanks, everyone. You guys are being very supportive this morning. Despite the couple of trolls and bad apples in there, you guys are being nice and supportive, and I appreciate that. Also, Howl, I should bring up that Howl did a 201-bit cheer and is the cheerleader for this stream. I don't remember if I brought that up when he actually did that cheer, so. All right, let us begin with Outlast 2, folks. Let's get excited. I'm excited for the game. I hope you are too. If I beat it today, whatever, we'll move on to other stuff. I guess we'll see what happens. All right, play it by ear. All right, let's begin.